The 5th of December, the King's birthday. Traditionally, he addresses the nation on the eve of his birthday. This year, he made a rare address on his birthday in the presence of his family and other dignitaries. But for those holding vigil outside his hospital, he has answered their prayers.
My grateful thanks for sincerely coming to give well wishes on my birthday and well wishes for my recovery from sickness. My happiness is happening when the country is prosperous and peaceful. I am wishing all the people and nation to be more prosperous and sustainable. The progress and prosperity of the nation could happen only when every one of you work with conscious wisdom and honestly take the public and national benefit as paramount. The national benefit comes before the personal benefit. I urge you who have authority and duty to realize of your own duty. Work hard and honestly do your best to accomplish your duty to the nation and the public for the sustainable prosperity of your homeland.
In practical terms, the unity the king desires is left to Prime Minister Aphisit Wichatjiwa to deliver. Aphisit became Prime Minister when several politicians defected to his Democrats party. They previously supported Thaksin. Some say the military played a role in that defection, and it's this, plus Aphisit's reluctance to hold a general election, that means he faces ongoing questions about his political legitimacy.
You have had a very fortunate, privileged upbringing. You were privately educated at school in England, went to Oxford University. Do you think you can relate to the enormous masses of the poor in this country? When you meet them, do you pinch yourself thinking, this isn't my natural environment?
No, I think that's nonsense. If I'm not in touch with the people, why would they ever elect me into office? So, and I've traveled up and down the country so many times during so many election campaigns. No, I don't feel that there's any unease or any gap.
Your critics say that your government is effectively the product of a coup that ousted the democratically elected government of Thailand.
Well, I think we have to get the record straight. The fact of the matter is this government comes through the constitutional process, and I think the last 9 months we have seen a government that is truly democratic in spirit. I have allowed protesters to meet and discuss, find a dialogue with the government to strike the right balance.
It's highly personalized. I mean, the divisions in this country. I mean, one thinks one side or the other is purely evil. What do you make of that?
There's no easier way of whipping up sentiments when you pick persons as targets, whether it's a target of love or hate. It's more powerful than ideas. I'm trying to fight against that trend.
But wouldn't it be far better for your government, for Thailand, simply to have some kind of deal with Thaksin Shinawatra in order to bring him back into the country?
I've always said that if Kun Thaksin is ready to accept the consequences of his action legally, Thailand is a very forgiving society. Maybe we can find a solution.
But this solution appeared far away earlier in the year when the red shirts hit the streets in fury. In March 2009, Thaksin accused Aphisit of complicity in the 2006 coup, which ultimately brought him to power. An accusation which sparked widespread violence by the red shirts, including attacks on the Prime Minister himself. Once again, the army was sent in, making it clear that the forces that deposed Thaksin remain as powerful today as they did in 2006.
Nice garden gnomes.
General Saunti Bunyaratlin led the coup against Thaksin. Now retired, the general is surprisingly candid about his motivation.
On February the 4th, Sonti Limtangkun came to see you. What did he want to talk about and what did he want from you?
คิดว่าในวันที่4นะครับคือวันที่
On the 4th, he gathered 4,000 to 5,000 people outside the army HQ, and they came with a petition for us to do something about the situation. In order to calm the situation down, I decided to let them in and met Sondi, but we didn't talk much other than the fact they were here.
How did you read the situation in the country as in your position at that time?
แต่ในการที่คนส่วนใหญ่ที่อยู่ในกรุงเทพเนี่ยนะเป็นคนชั้น
In
กลาง
Bangkok, there are a lot of middle class and upper middle class people. They are very well informed about the political situation, and they were not happy. They wanted to cut back the role of the government because it was going in a non-democratic direction.
เมืองไทยเนี่ยเรามีคล้ายๆเป็น
In Thailand, we have a saying, people in the countryside elect a government, and people in Bangkok bring it down.
คนกรุงเทพเนี่ยล้มรัฐบาล
When the coup was actually done, how did you feel? I mean, when you came back home, were you able to sleep easy that night?
จะถามว่าเป็นยังไงหรือก็คือว่าเมื่อเข้า
Well, after I had an audience with the king and reported the event, I felt greatly relieved because I have done my duty.
The coup might have got rid of Thaksin, but do you think in some ways his legacy does still live on?
ปัญหาของคนที่เป็นรากแก้วหรือรากหญ้าของเราเนี่ย
The problem with people in countryside is that they still live in poverty, so they are easily manipulated. If they are paid to come to the rally in Bangkok, that doesn't worry me. But if they come with their own ideology, that's frightening.
The general sentiments are echoed by many in Bangkok's elite, including Sonti Limtangun and his supporters. But Thaksin supporters strongly dispute this.
ไม่เคยเลยนี่คือความภูมิใจพวกเรา
Thaksin did not fund anything. He just gave us help once in a while, and we are proud that he appreciates us. I just want to ask you, why is the media still listening to Sondi Limthongkul?
Welcome to 3 o'clock news on Focus Thailand. I am Giratikon Naksomphok.
Sonti's supporters claim that Thaksin's followers have misunderstood what he really stands for.
There are many different levels to this so-called war. I mean, if we talk about the grassroots levels and what they're asking for, what they're fighting for Kun Thaksin. But in the end, they're fighting for what Kun Thaksin used to stand for, and that's just basically something that, in my personal opinion, they really didn't understand. Kun Thaksin used tax money to give back to the people under the impression that it was his money, under the impression that he was giving this to them, when basically it was just everybody's money, every Thai national, every Thai taxpayer's money.
This type of accusation has failed to dampen grassroots support for Thaksin.
ต้องการให้ท่านกลับมาเป็นผู้นำประเทศเหมือนเดิม
I want Thaksin back to run the country and to help grassroots people, to help clear out the debt, and I don't think anyone else can do it. We don't have any hope in that.
Prime Minister Apisit knows he has to legitimize his premiership and has promised an election within 2 years. Thaksin's followers feel confident that they will prevail.
It might not be 100% that the red shirts will win without Thaksin, maybe 70% possible. But if Thaksin comes back to Lee, we will win this election.
The establishment must be afraid, because if they start to make concessions to reconcile with the future, let's say they reduce their interest, they allow for democratic institutions to thrive and flourish, the concessions would have no boundary.
A future with no boundaries is what many fear. Thailand has shown itself to be uncomfortable without the guiding hand of its king. But unless these warring colours can unite to paint a brighter future for Thailand, many fear darker days ahead.